And we're back with more Everlasting Summer. Yeah, last time we took a hike, and what really worried me last time is that Slavia didn't return with us. I don't know if she actually did come back to camp with us, but as far as I know, she did not. So here we are. I don't know what time it is when Okla woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. Imminence of death? My whole body ached. I felt dizzy. My mind was clouded by haze. Simeon, wake up immediately, or you'll miss breakfast, and more importantly, the lineup. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest day. The same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with a blanket, and turned to the wall. In the end, Ogla's anger will never go beyond words. At least, I really wanted to believe so then. Stand up right now, or what? I was going to say triumphantly, but kept silent. Not because of fear, just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup? Hang my photo on the wall of shame? You just give no fucks, do you, dude? Or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm ready for that too. Just let me sleep a couple of hours. Okay. But if you missed the lineup, the door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep which had been about to fade claimed my mind again. Dots. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m. according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drops of charge out of its battery. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache. My head felt clearer, and all in all, it was a good beginning to the day. You missed the lineup. After waving my arms, pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cab and headed to the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but we'll be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. Who the fuck are you? Along the way, I met a pioneer whose face somehow looked strangely familiar. But I was going so fast I couldn't really see him, and when I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. There was nobody near the washstands. Everyone is probably busy with the Okla task and God knows what else. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was already going to leave when I suddenly heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. Pioneer leaned against the washstand over there. I couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like the one I saw a couple minutes ago. How you doing? Sun's so bright today. I looked up into the sky, shielding my eyes with my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer, given the way he stood. The bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces of the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any single feature. The camp leader is angry today. So angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar, too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you'd know better, yeah. Try to remember if I've ever heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. He turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off as I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning with suspicious and boresome speculations. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush treetops with that's a tongue twister. Rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods and fields stretching beneath the horizon were dissolving in warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is now, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth. Times of fun literature and careful joy. Childhood games, how many there were. I wouldn't say no to playing war games or hide and seek now. Or swinging on a bungee. Or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers, ready to defend their master to the last drop of their plastic blood. Dots. I went to the square and sat on a bench, waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs or groups of 3. But always someone I didn't know. Elisa, Yana, Lana, Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaninglessness of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. Just think about it. Who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Certainly not me. I looked upon Jenda. He was meditating, as always. Now he definitely never gets in uneasy, unnecessary doubts. I remembered my first hours in this camp and the day before. The anguish, the anxiety and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Maybe I'm already dead. Then this is the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? Who the fuck are you? I looked up and saw that pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again as the sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. Seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's say that you know who I am. Foreshadow? Much? I don't know. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here. You don't. He answered short. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk. I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm this didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked the question, but this tone implied he was only expecting confirmation. Yes, and you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say that I visit this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, and what was it like before? It's always the same. Ogla being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups in the morning, and all these wicked accidents. Wicked. For a moment I thought that it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that's with every new. He hesitated. Year. More and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggered my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every session in the pioneer camp reminds me of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably. This is my first. It shows. The pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. Now, I was absolutely sure that this guy was hiding something from me. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp's usual ordinaries and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? Said, enunciating every word. Pioneer had no time to answer as the lunch bell sounded. I turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories and speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself, remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days, except Shurk trying to beat the shit out of you. Moreover, everything here seemed too natural, sometimes even boring. You're a fucking idiot. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that and I just misunderstood him. Thinking that, I went to the canteen, intending to feast, Then Ogla just shoved his fist up my ass. Sometimes it seemed to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers were running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through the first meal, take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get me my assigned food rations. Okroshka is a traditional Russian cold soup. For lunch today we had okroshka, which I didn't really like, and cutlets with potatoes. I sat in the corner and mentally rejoiced that I will be able to eat in peace. My table was the farthest from the kitchen. I could reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it. Or would reach it last. However, when I moved on the main course, Slavia, Shurk, and Electronic appeared from the crowd. Can we? Son of a bitch. I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calmly. Even Electronic wasn't jabbering as he usually does. I finally finished a meal, sprawled in my chair, and satisfied clicked my tongue. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. You know, he's so... I suddenly realized that I didn't really know how to describe him. Well, about my height, same constitution. Hard to say from such a description. Slavia smiled. Well, we have half a camp of such guys, if it comes to that. Oh no, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just that I met him today. It seemed like I haven't seen him here before. Look in the canteen. I don't think he'll miss lunch. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. I got up and started to slowly walk around the rows of tables. Lina and Xenia are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Lisa and Yana are laughing and arguing about something. Ogla, surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There are hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he already had lunch. I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like you would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archivist's principle. In the end, Ogla is unlikely to return anytime soon. At least I think so. And I will definitely have a couple of hours to rest. Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. Took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside. The moon was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. Dots. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe? It was already 4 o'clock. Get your ass up and walk around, you lazy fuck. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. Yeah, dumbass. After all, I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin, locked the door. But where should I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here in the south. I squinted and looked up at the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me. And once again, his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment, the sun blinded me, so I could not see anything besides the faint counters of the object. Are you stalking me? No, I was just passing by. He answered calmly. Then you should know better. So you haven't seen anyone? Correct. Why did you close your eyes? I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry. He laughed. I blinked a few times and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I will have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I am not mistaken, and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's so hot outside. Ogla was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me. She is pissed. Hey, Simeon. You were in the lineup, and in general, you were just lounging around all day. I did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning to become a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Ogla, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe, I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. I think I need to restart my computer soon. Because for some reason, it just likes to fucking alt-tab in between shit. Someone's yell came from the riverside, and Ogla rushed in its direction. Well, looks like I will be spared a lecture. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few moments of sitting here, Yolanda approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you sitting here all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you were chatting with a weird person, and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple, I just ask him. She laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Yolanda did not answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something, but won't tell you? Make them. But how? For a bit longer we sat together talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. It's time to find a mysterious stranger and get all the answers. First place to visit was the bus stop. Okay. Why? After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn around and go back to the camp, but then I heard someone whisper, "Don't trust him." What the fuck? Someone was hiding behind the monument. Pioneer was sitting here with his back to me. And once again the voice seemed strangely familiar. Who are you? I took a few steps toward him. Stop. Don't come any closer. For some reason I froze in my tracks. From somewhere deep inside an assurance came to me, and I understood that I shouldn't argue with him. Alright, I'll stay here. Have you seen him? Talk to him. He asked nervously. Who are you even talking about? He was dressed in a pioneer uniform. You know who. And I definitely did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. Yes. I answered after a few moments of silence. What did he tell you? The pioneer asked in a pleading tone. Nothing, really. Did he give you advice? Did he tell you what to do? Threaten you? No, nothing like that. Of course, he seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that. Remember, he may not be alone, or more likely, he is alone, but you may meet many pioneers here who look like him. What about you? Who are you? Who are you hiding from? You will understand. In time. Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit. What the fuck? All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees and throwing an old paper bag in my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. At the moment, I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared during my first hour at this camp. But back then, everything around me seemed kind of friendly. Now Saviag revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps. My throat was dry, my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to camp. It was already dinner time, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing had happened yet, does not mean I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which is not something I wanted to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer. Well, two of them to be precise. On the other, all the inhabitants of this camp who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision was to stand back and let everything resolve itself and was under some serious pressure. At this point it was clear to me. I had to do something on my own. But what, exactly? Everyone is probably having dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Ogla's place without being noticed. I decided to first take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat. So far, the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. I leaped up the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it in my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The message window was open. The text read, "You're wrong, Simeon. You were so wrong." What the fuck? It felt like my soul left my body. I froze on the spot. I was shaking and my blood was pumping so hard. It felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. It took at least a full minute for me to come back to senses. Ogla could have typed in the message. Or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they are not familiar with this technology. But no one besides me should know where I kept the phone. This event was a straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back here. Dots. Night fell on the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try and run, to kill every single person in the Whoa! Whoa! Okay, dude. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All of this was reinforcing that thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. So you decided to escape after all. Turned around but couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events and somehow managed to reason appropriately and to maintain the conversation. I wouldn't call this an escape. I answered slowly, stretching every word. Huh? Then what is it? A tactical retreat. Brilliant! He burst into laughter. That is a creepy smile. Listen, Why don't you tell me what's going on? Who you are and what you want from me? What did that guy tell you at the gate? Shit. Seemed that he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. But on the other hand, I thought that it was what he meant. Well, that's always the way for him. Running away, hiding. I could hear irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you are running here, but I'm not going to be a part of it. Oh, why not? You're the star, after all. I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me, then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. The first time, everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on, got mad, and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless. Conceded the pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first I just heard the voices. From a distance and sometimes in my head. Then vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on my physical form. Finally, they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers. And they all were different. Different. Do you get it? Different. He started shouting. And it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself. Didn't interact with the others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He fell silent. I didn't know what question to ask and didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a minute he continued. It's not that simple, of course. It's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remembered how I saw him the first time. The time when I didn't feel any emotions at all. Including the moments when you feel happy. As if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds, including the same camp with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you or that guy I met at the bus stop? Holy shit! That is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, something like that. That's fucking trippy, man. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding, and this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you've said that everything recurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake in the bus, come to camp, fuck off, Windows. Meet Ogla, the girls, electronic. But if it would happen to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first I tried to remember them though. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder. It was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's what that guy at the bus stop was talking about. Excuse me. Because he understands nothing, damn it! He shouted. Because he's just like you. Constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't even be here, standing here, talking to you. Alright. But you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know, since I've been around here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There. He waved towards the forest. Is nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself in the bus again. Same for walking around the road. It's endless. Talking to somebody about that is pointless. You probably already understand that by yourself. I did. I interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best you'd just be considered an idiot. What if you try not to leave the bus? It's pointless. Sooner or later you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you started by yourself and leave? No keys. And I don't have any carjacking skills. A cursed cycle. Exactly. A long silence fell. Finally I asked, what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is that no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people. I feared them at first, too. Then I used them for different experiments. And now I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls, puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. So they aren't worth fearing, are they? The one worth feeling is yourself. He said softly. Do you know how funny it is when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension? Holy shit. Looks like he has finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that's a bit much, too. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking, why didn't I check this all by myself? Aren't you? Why didn't I try to reach the nearest village or town? Yes, I did have such thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes. Forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people, maybe. But I'm sure there's many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different, but the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it yourself. I don't know if I should thank him for that. Well, what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake. When I opened my eyes, I didn't see anybody, just the previous times. So it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all this? And what is more important, where's the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant to me for now, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things, and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone and some other stuff? There were hints, after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. The lights were on in Ogla's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Hey, Ogla. Speak of the devil, here you are. The camp leader said angrily. Ogla, I'm so tired, so let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. Camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell into bed without undressing. Simeon, a role model pioneer shouldn't behave like that. And how should he behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment, as if struggling to pick the right words. He should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Simeon. Sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now I'd like to sleep. Wait, By the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been anyway. Said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about that tomorrow. The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. That pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he is unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Day 7. Holy shit, wow. That just like fucks with your mind a little bit. The bright sunlight was striking my eyes even through my eyelids. I stretched out and lazily, quickly got myself out of the bed. It was 2 p.m. Jesus, dude. Looks like yesterday really finished me off and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had to stroll around the room thinking of what I should do today. Obviously, my life in this camp would never be the same again after everything that I heard from that strange pioneer. And if everything's just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take out only a couple steps as somebody ran to my back. Turned around, saw Elisa. Hey, be careful, said she indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of bag in her hands. Whatever. Yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice-cold water to bring myself to my senses and refresh my head, at least a bit. I felt a bit better after that. Suddenly, hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't a hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as that guy told me. Good morning. I heard her faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning. Are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again and it seemed like it was a pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. No. The guy from the bus stop had blonde hair. Indeed, I was prepared for such a weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised and started this conversation quite clear-headed. You didn't believe him, did you? What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Alright, but what is your opinion on what is happening? I'd already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. Hopefully, it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. There is an exit. There has to be. He said excitedly. I don't know, but I like to believe that too. If you just... Simeon! I turned around. Savia was standing right next to me. Who are you talking to? Oh my God. No one. Just talking to myself. Nobody can see these people but me. I'm going completely insane. I see dead people. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared for another hike? No. Today's the last day of the session. What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus this evening. We're leaving. Holy cow. I was ready for even the most incredible of twists, but... Was this what the mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably it was. Well, apparently I have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. But this time I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It sounds like I have much to pack anyway. Okay. Slavia shifted her gaze. Seemed like she wanted to say something but hesitated. Well, see ya then. Yeah. I had to ask when we're leaving at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. There's got to be someone I know there. But believe it or not, there was only Jenda waiting for me at the square. Probably all the pioneers are busy with packing. Took a seat on the bench and just stared at the sky. Turns out that today I just have to wait for the departure. Pass out on the bus, wake up in the camp again, just like the first day. Everything was drowning in silence. It's exactly that time of the summer day when the sun seems stuck in the sky. The birds and crickets have gone for an after-lunch doze, and the wind is saving its energy to deliver long-awaited coolness to people in the evening. It suddenly crossed my mind that I haven't even just missed lunch. But I haven't had any breakfast either. It was ridiculous to search for anything in the canteen. Pioneers had surely cleaned up everything just before the departure. Scratched my head and made my way to Hoagla's cabin. Surely there should be something edible in the table's drawer. Someone called for me as I approached the door. Sure, electronic swiftly approached the cabin. Are you already packed up? Already packed up. I answered, imitating him. You haven't quite been yourself the last few days. What makes you say that? How should I know? You'd know better. I mean, why are you so concerned? No reason. A real pioneer always treats a comrade's problem as his own. I cast a skeptical look at him. Thanks for your concern, I'm fine. There actually was half a loaf of stale bread and a piece of smoked sausage in the drawer. Why is that in the drawer? I've ate everything with deliberate pleasure, washing it down with smartly water that Ogla probably used to water the plants. Just as I finished, someone started knocking on the door. Come in. Yola rushed into the room. Oh, it's just you, she said disappointedly. And who'd you expect to see? A circus complete with bears? Nana giggled. Where's Ogla? Don't know. I shrugged. Why not? I don't know, because I don't know. What do you want from her, anyway? Gotta ask something before the departure. Okay. I'll tell her that you were searching for her if I see her. By the way, why aren't you packing up? Like I have much to pack. Well, see ya. She cracked a sly smile and bounded out of the cabin, slamming the door behind her. And still, it's really strange that nobody seems to be puzzled by the sudden departure. Why am I the only one who was not expecting it? 'Cause you weren't at the lineup, you fucking idiot. Like, everyone really cares if I've packed my things up. As well as that, doesn't anyone care that it's the last time we're seeing each other? The words of that guy in the forest yesterday, about all the camp's tenants being unreal, suddenly sprang into my head. But right now, I'm more ready to believe in that ever. The desk drawer where I found my breakfast contained lots of odds and ends. Grabbed a pencil, a piece of paper, examined them for the same time, then slipped them into my pocket. Just in case. I had no intention of watching all over the pioneers. Running around packing, so I just lay on my bed and didn't even notice how I dozed off. It was somebody's voice that woke me up. Ogla. No. Whoa! Wait, dude. I don't play like that. The familiar pioneer was sitting directly opposite with his back to me. I'd gotten used to him a bit since yesterday, and it even seemed that I stopped fearing him. Hey, why do you always hide your face? Because you shouldn't see it. If you say so. His face is exactly like mine, isn't it? It wasn't in a position to argue. So what are you going to reveal this time? You already know it's the last day of a session, don't you? Yep. You've already spoken with that one. Yep. So what did he tell you? Nothing special. He said that there's an exit out of here. The pioneer burst into laughter. Yeah, I believed that too ages ago. And now? What is now? I have my past. My life back then. He stopped talking for some time. Anyway, it all was a long while ago, so I don't really remember. The future is all the same. Loops, loops, loops. Repetitions of the same story. Where is this now? Well, I hate to say it, but I'm not yet as lost in time as you are. Oh, that's nothing. That'll come with time. He broke into diabolic laughter. There's just one thing that I don't understand. What's your reason for coming to me? What do you expect to achieve? Me? Nothing, really. So why did you come, then? It's just because you, him, and others like us are the only real people around here. Given everything he'd said to me already, I just wasn't ready to believe that all the local tenants are just puppets in some kind of hellish stage play. Are you sure that you're right? Right about what? Well, that you're right about everything. I can't be right or wrong. I didn't choose this world. I didn't throw myself into it. I'm just here. And you're just here. Listen, I've already got a headache from your philosophy. I was kind of puzzling myself as to why I was so calm talking to this mysterious pioneer. Well, here it is, right in front of me. All the fantasy and delivery that's happened in this camp. Here it is, an explanation. It's a partial one, for how I got here. Here they are, the answers I've searched for such a long time. On the other hand, my behavior was quite logical. While I couldn't quite explain what was happening, this cuckoo guy just talked and talked, but it sounded like his words changed anything. Then what's the point of listening to him? Oh no, you will soon understand everything yourself. Somebody was knocking at the door. I got up to open it. It was Slavia, on the doorstep. You came to see Ogla? No. Come in then. I was 100% sure that the pioneer had already disappeared. Turns out I was right. Slavia took a seat on the bed, and I snuggled against the wardrobe in the far corner of the room. She was distinctly nervous. Did something happen? Not really, it's just today's the last day. Well, I'm all ready to wear. Better late than never. Well, so I thought. I mean, we probably won't see each other ever again. It's a small world, as they say. But maybe you would give me your address to write letters? I would have, if only I knew it myself. You know, let's do it the other way around. You give me your address. I'll definitely write to you upon arrival. But why don't you want to give me yours? Well, we're just about to move, so you never know. It's better if I write to you. Try to put on my cutest smile to make my story look more credible. Okay, it's fine then. Slavia got up and seemed to be leaving. Hey, wait. What about the address? Let's do it later. An expression of sorrow and disappointment crossed her face. I just shut the door and right then heard the spiteful voice of the pioneer form behind. Well, happy now? You've heard a girl. What? What have I heard her with? What should I have said to her? My dear, write to my dear Grandy in the village? Or should I have left her the address of a house that's probably not even built yet? So what? I am not my brother's keeper. It's your world, not mine. I'll manage somehow on my own. That last phrase really made me squirm. You know what? I didn't manage to finish the phrase. Someone was knocking at the door again. Ogla! Damn it. Fucking slut. Lana flew in the cabin. Why the rush, milady? I made an excessively showy bow. Me? I'm just... Her eyes darted about cautiously and her cheeks were blushed. Just wanted to say goodbye. There will be time for that anyway. After all, we'll all be going on the same bus. Yeah, you're right, but it's kind of embarrassing in front of everybody. Oh, so there is something that you can be embarrassed by. I laughed. She pouted.
I just wanted to tell you that you are a douche, really. In fact, you're almost a cool guy. Her words astonished me. Well, thanks. You're good to hang out with, too. Well, that's that. She rushed outside, slamming the door loudly. Hey, didn't expect that from her? Did you? I got nothing to do with that, I told you. It really looks like you knew that was she would say. Maybe I did, maybe not. You just came here to mock me? I started to lose my temper. That idea had also crossed my mind. Then why the hell are you hanging around here? If I ever need a man to comment on all my actions, I'll hire a professional psychologist. You think that after this time I don't qualify as one? My estimation is that all fucking shit, I can't. Sorry. My estimation is that after all the time here, you've definitely gone bananas. All psychologists are freaks. Yes, but not all freaks are psychologists. He laughed out loud. Sense of humor. How encouraging. Frankly, your jokes are fairly lame. Who are you laughing at, yourself? Listen, if you got nothing to do in your old world, go and bug that second one. And have you got anything to do in your world? The pioneer sharply countered. You know, I'll find out what to do. I'll pack up my things, leave this camp. And then what? Then what? Like I know. I've never been in such a situation before, believe it or not. It's just that you've forgotten that you wouldn't be able to leave the camp. Yeah, he was right in this matter, probably. Just because you fail to do so, that doesn't mean that I will fail too. You're the boss. There was a knocking at the door. So quiet that I barely heard it. Lena. Damn, who else is it? It's Lena. Hissed I under my breath and shouted, Come in. But the door didn't open, so I pulled the handle myself. I knew it was Lena. Lena was on the doorstep. It looks like I really scared her. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You came to see Olga? No. She stood staring at the ground. So what is it then? What did Lena want from me? Come in. She came in and hesitated in the middle of the room. Want to take a seat? Pointed at one of the beds. Lena hesitated a bit more, but nevertheless took a seat. Did something happen? Not at all, it's just... She threw a quick glance at me, but blushed at once and looked away. Here. Lena took something out of her pocket and handed it to me. I was stunned. It was my phone. But where did you get it from? I found it in the forest. Okay. Okay, but why do you think it's mine? Some boy told me so. Have you ever seen him before? I don't know. I couldn't see his face, but he was dressed in a pioneer uniform. Everything was clear at once. And don't you wonder what it is? I looked at the screen. There still was some battery left. Therefore, the cell phone shouldn't just look like a piece of plastic to Lena. I don't know. Some kind of game? Yeah, you're right. I quickly opened the snake in the menu and handed the phone to her. Here you go. Keep safe. What are you doing? I can't. Lena waved her hands at me. Take it. I have loads of these at home. She resisted a bit more, but finally she took the device. And what do I do with it? Press the keys to move left and right. You gotta eat these pellets and keep from hitting your own tail. Wow, so interesting. She smiled. Thank you. And yet I have nothing for you. It's so embarrassing. I don't need anything, thanks. No, that's not good. She said with a voice that sounded more confident than usual. It's the last day today after all. Yeah. I hope we'll meet again. I think we will. Then I have a present for you. And what is it? She's gonna... Oh my god! She's gonna fucking do it! She's gonna fucking do it! She's gonna fucking do it! Just close your eyes. Oh my god! I did so. And promise that you won't open them until I tell you. Okay. No, you have to promise. Alright, I promise. In a moment I felt a light kiss on my cheek! Yes! Yes! Right!
I was really eager to open my eyes, but I promised. Open. The room was empty. What a girl. The only thing I managed to say. So how does it feel, stud? I heard miraculous laughter from the place where Lena had just been sitting. So that's your new way of pranking me, eh? Using the others? Me? Pranking? God forbid. Indeed, you got a kiss from a sweet girl thanks to me. On the cheek. But anyway. Okay, I'm pissed. Alright, I'll see you guys next episode. This guy's pissing me off. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll upload this probably tomorrow. Oh, man.